Ratios and rates. A ratio is a comparison, typically with no label. A ratio is a comparison with no label. For example, student to teacher ratio. It's a big thing in schools that they talk about. They talk about the student to teacher ratio. So in this classroom today, the student to teacher ratio is 22 to 1. Sometimes our student to teacher ratio in here is 23 to 2 because we have two teachers, Miss Warshaw and Mrs. Long. And we have Elijah, who's sick, is usually here, is sometimes here, right? So today, our ratio is 22 to 1. There are no labels. It's just a comparison. A rate has labels. A rate has labels. For example, a rate that you deal with every day in your life is speed limit. Right? You guys are going to be driving soon, right? You're going to have to be aware of the speed limit. The speed limit on Johnson Drive is 35 miles, label, per hour, different label. Two different labels. This ratio is talking about people to people, so and it doesn't even have labels in the words. Here, miles per hour, two different labels, it's technically a rate. However, ratio and rate are kind of interchanged. You need a calculator. Please make sure you have your calculator out. And here we go. It says right here, it takes you 3 hours to read 82 pages in your novel. At this rate, it's a rate because it's hours to pages. How many pages per hour do you read? So here's how we do these things. It's 82 pages in 3 hours. 82 pages in 3 hours. So if I look at that, and I'm going to use this, I'm going to convert it. It's asking me, how many pages do you read in 1 hour? So there are a couple of ways of doing this. One way, the way that I really like to think about it, is I just like to look and see what do I do to get there. Meaning, from 3 to get to 1, I'm going to divide by 3. Do you agree? We're not subtracting or adding. We're multiplying and dividing because we're taking one proportion and we have to keep it equivalent. So we can't add or subtract to it. We're going to double it or divide by 3 or times by 11, whatever that looks like. So what's 82 divided by 3?
27.3.
So 27.3 repeating, right? Pages. Now, also, do you know that 27.3 is the same thing as 27 1/3? That might be helpful later on. 0.3 repeating is 1/3. But the great thing about ratios and rates, when they're proportional, when they're equal to each other, you have a variety of ways of getting to where you want to be. Mackenzie, put the tape away and focus, please. Okay. So it says right here, if you maintain the same rate, how many pages can you read in 9 hours?
The whole book?
I mean, that's a lot. Now, here's my question, though. There are two ways couple of ways of getting there. I have two ratios. I have two rates. I have two comparisons. I have 82 pages in 3 hours, and I have 27.3 repeating pages in 1 hour. I can pick which one I want to do to make into 9 hours. I can take this second one and multiply by what? 9. But I don't know how to put 0.3 repeating in my calculator.
1/3.
It is 1/3, so how do you put 27 in 1/3? If you don't know, let's say you don't have a calculator that does that. What could you do to this first one?
Divide by 3.
Multiply it by 3. 3 times 3 is 9.
She's so rude to me.
Again, we'll wait.
Yeah, it's my fault. What?
Focus.
We should be done with this set of notes by now.
Get out,
So remember when I asked if you could come in without disrupting class?
Yeah, I was stretching and it came out wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not even halfway done. We're not even 1/3 of the way done. If you need to start serving lunch retentions up here because you can't figure it out the first half of class, that's fine. We'll start that on Wednesday. If you can't function up here at the beginning of the first half of class, you'll stay over lunch. We'll go get lunch and you'll eat up here. You'll have a lunch detention. There is absolutely no reason we should be on step 2 of our notes. So again, we have 2 ways of getting there. We have this first or this second one that we did. But if you struggle with putting 0.3 into your calculator, repeating, you could go over here to the first one. 3 times 3 is 9, so 82 times 3 is what?
27 over 1/3.
No, not 27 over 1/3. 246.
Oh. Hard.
So there are a couple of ways, and that's the great thing about proportions. You can pick the way that you want to get there. I have how many pages can you read in 2 hours? This one's a little bit harder because I don't, what do I divide 3 by to get 2? Well, that's, I can't subtract, right? I have to multiply or divide. What can I divide 9 by to get 2? Right? Like, so I could go, I'm probably most likely going to want to go here because I can do 1 times 2 to get 2. And I can do 2.7 or 27.3 times 2 to get 54.6. And since this is repeating, this will also repeat.
What?
I knew it. I got it right.
Nobody cares, Nick.
Okay, again, Mackenzie. If you're truly sorry, you won't do it again. The 7 is because your calculator rounds the very end of it to make it fit.
I'm confused. Where did you get 246 from?
Well, look, 3 times 3 is,
9.
so 82 times 3 is 246. Okay, we have to come back and take notes. Yes?
Yeah.